Alright, so welcome to episode 80 now, right? Yesterday was a bit of a mess. I was tired, I was frantic, going around in circles, trying to find a way to do this, settled on something. So, as a quick recap, as what I did last episode, we've I've got my target route, which is now a static body 2D, right? So we got that, we got our collision shape. Plug that into main, and actually had a look at the code because I left it off last night just messy and whatever. It's just held together by duct tape. Um, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to clean up. I did write down, like, I sort of drew it out how it works. Because I think this, I had to like sit down and draw it out just so I can wrap my head around how is this working, what are the interlocking systems. So the main systems, that's what's going on with the target is we got the ball script, we got target script, and we got game manager. So we've got the signal ball changed in game manager. That's hooked up to target CS and hooked up to on ball changed, right? And we've got our ball CS, which is a rigid body 2D, and we've got on body entered, which is hooked up. We've got on body entered, which is a method, and inside that we've got our signal signaling out target hit. So what's happening is the ball's going to be played. Once it hits a target, it's going to check, is this a target? If it is, signal out target hit. All right. The ball, we got on ball changed, then we got on target hit, which is listening for that signal from ball inside target, and then on target hit we call hit target, and inside hit target we do all our calculations, and then we emit out our two signals, either target hit or target destroyed, depending on whether it's hit or killed or destroyed or not. Those two signals are hooked up into game manager for on target hit and on target destroy, and that's doing sorry, excuse me, that's doing a bunch of checking the score, updating the score and stuff like that. So that's how it's all working together. The reason why we needed to find out, get the signal from game manager ball changed, is so that on ball change we can get a reference to the current ball and then subscribe to that current ball's target hit signal. So that's how it's working under the hood. I had to write it out because with all this code, I mean, you can imagine, like, we got all this code, we got target that's growing, and then game manager. I mean, my God, like trying to wrap my head around that. And then just looking at the pure code, I was getting into the mood that I was in yesterday, where it's just getting a bit overwhelming. So I thought, let me just draw it out, and in this way, it was a bit more simple for me to see. Okay, what are the moving parts of this? So let me show you what the game looks like. Okay, that should be working now. So let's run the game. We can see what we have. Inside our main team, we got everything. We've got our game field, game manager. Is everything hooked up here? Target route, we got game manager. Ball container, we don't need any node references, that's fine. So, oh, and the reason why I chose static 2D is because rigid body, there would have been a bunch of physics to deal with, and I didn't want that, but I wanted something static where the ball could bounce off of, instead of an area 2D where it doesn't bounce off of it. And then with a static body, I can like manipulate the way it moves much more easier without having to like dig into the game physics and stuff like that. So let's look at it now. If I hit it, we should get an output. There we go. So it hit, I was hit, target. CS says the health is 2, game manager says points applied 300. Let's see, let's get some combo modes so that we can get a higher score. And now this should give us, oh, I'm bad. Alright, let's get a higher combo mode. Let's make it 5. Try to hit this. There we go. And then this should hit as well. Boom. That's good. So yeah, 3 points, 3 hits on a target should kill it. And then one super shot hit should kill it as well. So let's test that. Boom, one super shot hit kills it. And then onto my bug that I discovered yesterday. If it's the first ball, as you can see there, it doesn't trigger anything. Only once it's like the ball has respawned, now it applies. Let me try that again. So I'm going to start the game. You'll see with the first ball, if I don't lose it and I manage to hit it first time, it doesn't apply any damage value whatsoever. See that? Let's see if I do a super shot. So let me start the game again. Do a super shot with this. I believe it's the same thing. Yeah, same thing. Nothing happens. Now the ball has respawned. I'm able to play it the way I initially intended. So on to next steps. Hopefully that was a good explanation. On to next steps, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna quickly clean up my code. I've got a lot of redundant code. I've got a lot of like just things messy and things everywhere. I'm just gonna quickly clean it up. It shouldn't take too long. It will be a quick development time lapse. I probably won't even turn off my camera, but I'm gonna do that first so that I've got everything organized, and then I can get on to fixing the bug. So let me do that quickly. So that is cleaned up now. I just cleaned it up. Yeah, that's it. Got rid of like a method that wasn't being used. Put in some comments, so that's good. So it explains. Change this name to hit me because it made a bit more sense. Yeah, that's it. It's sorted now. So it's more cleaner for me to understand. So let's build run. It should run the exact same way. So first time should not hit. Yeah, so first time doesn't do anything. The first ball, sorry. And then let me just let the ball respawn. There we go. So we get like targets. We get our points. We take away a life from the thing, and then on 3 hits. It works. So that's good. Let me just double check that super shot still works. There you go. Yeah, fine. All right, works as before. Now, yeah, like I said, it was just a quick thing. I just wanted to make sure that everything was organized properly. So next is fixing that bug. So the problem is right down there. Problem is the first ball doesn't do anything. Subsequent balls react, gives hits, etc. So it works, etc. Works as intended. Right, let's call it that. So why is it doing that? I don't know. could be inside target, could be inside game manager, or it could be inside ball. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to debug this. I feel like it might be in game manager. Anyways, I'm gonna try get that sorted. See how I fix it, and then inshallah once I fix it, then I'll be able to explain, and then we can get on to the next step after that. Alright, so that issue is sorted. I looked through my code, checked to see if on spawn ball whether this signal was being emitted using debug print statements inside game manager. So I printed to see if the first ball the signal was being emitted. It was. So I had to check, okay, which file was subscribed to that ball changed signal, and I found out it was target. So I went into target and then saw here, okay, on ball changed. Okay, so I'm subscribing to ball changed and assigning it to on ball change, and then put a GD script, a print statement here checking if on ball change gets called for the first ball, and it wasn't. So I realized the issue is here. What's happening is that signal is being emitted, but I'm not pulling that signal on load. And essentially what's happening is current ball is null. So that's why, because the current ball, I have no reference to the current ball, I'm not subscribed to its target hit signal, and this is not triggering for the first ball. That's why on subsequent balls, then it's able to subscribe. Then it's able to subscribe. It finds out, okay, ball change, on ball change, grab the ball, current ball is now, and then subscribe to its target hit. So inside ready, I explained that so poorly, but it makes sense in my head. So in ready, I check where I was subscribing to the ball changed event, the ball changed signal. After that, I check, okay, if game manager dot try get ball, meaning if I manage to get the ball on ready, print manage to grab the first ball on load, then set the current ball to ball, and then set current ball dot target hit and subscribe my on target hit. So now that works. Now you will see, so you will see on my on ball changed, I've got this print statement here, checking if on ball change gets called for the first ball. You'll see this won't get called, but it will get called for subsequent balls that get respawned. This will get called. Target managed to grab the first ball on load. This will get called. This is in ball in ready. So this will get called, but the on ball change won't get called for the thing. But this is what fixes it, is that on ready, that's when I'm grabbing the current ball and then subscribing to target hit. And you'll see here, if I build and load, there we go. So forget this second one, don't worry about that. You see when the ball oh, actually remember this, the ball loaded, managed to grab the first ball in ready, got triggered the print statement, but the checking if on ball change gets called, on ball changed, which should trigger because whenever I spawn a ball inside Game Manager wasn't being triggered. But then the ball went out of play, it respawned another ball, and then it got triggered again. So that's how it works. Managed to fix it. Now you can see when I play, we'll hit the ball. This is still the first ball, and if I hit it, it will say, there we go, points applied, right? Let's try again. Let's try it. Let's try keep the same ball and try to kill the target. So hit 1, hit 2, hit 3, kills the target. Let's try first, with the first ball, let's try a super shot. There we go. And let's just try like a manual super shot. So, sorry, a natural super shot. So this is a natural super shot. So it's not like the debug super shot, and it still works. So yeah, works now. That is good. I'm happy with that. So I can get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Oh. Yeah, get rid of this. Now it works as intended. Everything is fine and dandy. Now inside my ball, I did keep inside my ball script. I did keep something here. Let's put this up top. Important, once ball hits something like a wall, must clear this value or flip is super shot. That's hit this value or flip. Last strike info dot is super shot. So last strike info. This is for the future, so this isn't going to be the next step. But what I want to do, since this is a rigid body 2D and I've got my own its own on body entered, and I'm checking, okay, if it's a target, then admit that I've hit a target. I would want to later on import some other things, include some other things on body entered to detect, okay, once I've hit something, once I've hit the wall, or like once I've hit the first thing, or once I hit the wall, then switch is super shot off, because that way, if I can like kind of show you with visuals that way, so like I've got my playfield, I've got my target here, right? I've got like another target, let's say, and I'm doing a super shot. The ball's here, I'm doing a super shot. It's aiming there, alright? Let's say it hits that, that goes off, and let's say it hits the wall, right? So it's still got momentum, right? The ball hits the target, target dies, perishes. With the momentum, the ball keeps going on, hits the wall, and then like let's say after that it bounces downwards, and there's another target here, and then it manages to hit that target. Well, since the last shot was a super shot, it's since what was it called again? Last strike info. Since last strike info, I'm gonna do that to LSI, right? Since last strike info dot is super shot is still true. Super shot is still true, right? Because I've not had another shot in order to switch that back. So I need to, later on down the line, it's not an issue right now, but at some point I need to be able to detect, okay, once I hit an object and then hit like a wall or something, or so it's either going to be once I hit the first object, flip it to false, or once I hit a wall, or once I hit something else. The reason why I don't want to do so, sorry, my mind's a bit all over the place. So yeah, that's something to do, but not now. Maybe a bit later on. It's still going to be one of the incoming steps. In terms of the next immediate step, it's going to be having two targets. Gonna be simple. Actually, I'll do it on screen. So I won't do a development time lapse. Let's see if I can include two targets in. So let's instantiate it. Oh no, that's wrong because that's a child of target root. I want to click main, click instantiate child scene, include target scene. Let's call this target A. So that's the left one, and that's the left one. Oh no, and then we'll call this target B. We'll go W, Q, W. There we go. And move that to the right. So let's see if it's able to correctly kill. I can have two on screen and then I can correctly kill two of them. So let's build this. Actually save, build, and now let's run. Oh yeah, that's correct. I need a node reference and I need to assign it the game manager. There we go. Let me double check if game manager is on this. Yeah, it is. And let me double check game manager. Does it need anything? Target A. That's an issue. That's going to be an issue now. Okay. So the left one's target A. So this should work. 1, 2, 3. And game manager does not have a reference to the one on the right. Yeah, so it's not doing anything. So structurally, well, it still worked. Oh, why did that still work? Let me see what I'm doing inside my game manager. So we got target 17 references to target. So we got target here, all right, which is a node reference. What am I doing with target? So if target is null, target reference not found, reference not found, else target dot target hit. Now I wonder, that's why the score wasn't updating or it wasn't doing anything, because it's only, yeah, that's the problem. Okay, I think this, yeah, I think the issue, yeah, obviously the issue is I'm getting the node reference for the target, right? For a specific target. Then for that specific target, subscribing on load to target hit and target destroyed. Now, since I've not done game development before, I'm not sure what's best to do. So I'm thinking of two things. Either, let me draw it here. So either have like inside game manager. So here's where my brain's going. We've got our game manager.cs. Have a targets array, right? And then inside target, have a in ready. So have a signal go, saying, I'm alive. No, not I'm alive, but let's say spawned in. So let's say I got a signal called spawned in, gets emitted whenever on ready. Subscribe on target spawned. on target spawn, subscribe that, and then inside on target spawn, what I do is, you know, target targets array plus whatever that target is. So I'll be like, I'll take this in. Okay, inside targets, inside target. Let me explain this better. Inside target, my target script, when it's spawned in, emit a signal. Hey, I'm spawned in. Subscribe. How would that work though? Because it's not. You'd have to subscribe on demand. You'd have to get the target. You know what I mean? And it's not. Oh, that's not gonna work, is it? Well, well, that goes to my second thing, and I did ask ChatGPT about this like a couple days ago actually, in terms of like overall architecture and next steps. My next step was going to be have either a target spawner the same way my ball is not a ball, it's actually just a ball container, and then I've got a ball spawn point. So I've got a ball container and a ball spawn point, and inside ball you could see it's a rigid body 2D. So inside ball container, which is just a node 2D, that's where I think it's inside game manager. No, it's not inside game manager. Where is it? Is anybody using ball container? What is that for? We do have ball spawn point. Ball spawn point. So we got this. We do have node ball parent. Oh yeah, it is there. So if we go ball setup, we got our ball scene, ball spawn point, and ball parent, which is the ball container. I was right. I thought it'd be inside node references. So the same way inside ball. Sorry, this project is growing so big, and I'm losing track of like what everything's doing. So the same way inside my game manager, for my ball setup, I've got a ball container, which is the ball parent, and then inside there I'm stacking in the balls. My idea was the next step was going to be have a target spawner or a target container, and then or have a level manager. But something tells me that it's better to have a target spawner and then have a level manager, and then inside that level manager I'll be able to dictate like the target spawner and stuff like that. So yeah, that goes on to my next step. So it was my plan originally anyways, is have a target spawner. That way within that target spawner I'd be able to put targets inside there, and then be able to manage having more than 2 targets at once, because that would be that's very important actually. What's the point of a game where you've only got 1 target? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, next step is target spawn. I'm gonna try to get that sorted. Hopefully, it should be easy for me since I've done ball container. Yeah, it should be something similar architecturally, and then it's got to have its own. I'm not sure if it needs its own script or not, because I don't think ball has its own script. I think I need a target container, then a level manager where it's gonna deal with target container or target spawn or whatever. So I'm gonna do that, and then we'll see how well I get along. Right, so that is done. I'm pretty pleased with that actually. I didn't use AI at all. Too many tabs, standard. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how I went about it. So to explain, and I did have some teething issues. Um, if I can remember everything. So we got the game manager. Before I had a reference to a target. So the issue I was having was because I'm looking for a target and the target's not spawned in yet. I want a target spawner which is going to spawn it on the fly. So instead of looking for a target, look for a target spawner and then plug that in. Every level will have a target spawner. So plug that in. Inside, I think nothing else used it. And then I created a node 2D called target spawner. Gave it the packed scene of the target, so now it knows what a target is. It's with that it's going to be able to create that scene on the fly and instantiate it into the main scene. And then as a child node, I've got target spawn point, which is just a marker 2D. I don't know why I didn't do that with ball, and to be honest, I feel like with this setup that I've got for the target spawner and the spawn point and how it's hooked up to game manager, I feel like it would have been better to have a ball manager and have a similar setup for my ball instead of. That's one reason why my game manager is so long, is because it's doing a lot of the ball logic that the ball should do itself, basically. Well, not itself, but the a ball manager. But anyways, that's beside the point. I'm just gonna keep it at that because I don't want to do surgery right now. So we got the target spawner, target spawn point. I believe everything inside ball is exactly the same, so I've not changed anything there. In terms of target spawner, we've got a delegate called target spawned event handler, and it's gonna get it feeds the target. So we got a signal. We got target group, which is the pack scene and the marker child. And on ready, what we're doing is target spawn point, grab the child, spawn the target wherever it is. I've set it somewhere in the scene. This is just, I'm not, obviously it's not going to be final code. This is not how it's going to work, but I just wanted to see if it worked if I did it like this. Target, spawn point, get the child, and then spawn the target, and spawn the target, move the target spawn point, spawn another target, move it again, move the spawn point again, and spawn the target. So what is spawn target doing? It's similar to my game manager, how I was instantiating new balls. You get target scene, the pack scene that we imported. Make that target. Parent is this because target spawner will be the parent. Parent.addChild target. So make the new target a child of this target spawner. Target.global position equals target spawn point dot global position. So grabbing the setting the target's global position to wherever the spawn point is, basically, and then emit the signal target spawned and feed it that target. Inside game manager, got rid of that initial. Before I just had a simple target, right? But now since I've got a target spawner and I might have multiple targets, I had to refactor this. So up here, I believe commented out the target. We can get rid of that. Instead, I've got target spawner, target spawner. On ready, what we're doing, again, commented all of this out. We're checking if target spawner is null, game target spawner reference not found. Else it's not null, else we found it. Then do stuff. That's the way I comment it sometimes. Then we do target spawner dot target spawned subscribe game manager to that signal that target spawner is thing. So on target spawned, what I'm doing in game manager is obviously it feeds in that target. So I'm subscribing So target spawner is going to spawn in a target, right? And then it releases a signal saying, right, I've just spawned a target. Here's that target that I've just spawned in. Game manager's taking that signal and target and going, all right, this target that you just spawned in, let me subscribe to its target hit signal and let me subscribe to its target destroyed signal, right? This is the same stuff as before. On target hit, on target destroyed, granting the points and emitting stats change and whatever. So that's all the same. Then inside target, we've got, what did I change? We got rid of the node reference for the game manager because obviously that's an export field, and because the target doesn't exist and it might spawn in, I can't then in mid-game drag the game manager in, right? So I needed to be able to get a reference to the game manager node on the fly. So we got our delegates here, that's the same. That I had to comment out because it was throwing an error. Target value is the same. We got current ball reference is destroyed, that's the same. And then this is what's new. Game manager underscore is game manager node. So on ready, I'm going there and doing game manager node equals get node game manager and just giving it the path. And if I don't manage to get that, then just make game manager node null. I was having an issue when I first did this. I kept getting an error, but then the second that I changed, so I had this line here, right? And I didn't have this if statement either. I didn't have this if block either, right? So it was just this code and this here, and it was throwing an error, and my debugger was going crazy. And then I did this code here and put in the if block, and then it worked, and then I've just reverted it, and now it just works anytime. So I could even have this previous line of code and it still works, but I'm not gonna because it's actually not good. I think it's best practice to check to feed it null if that's not gonna return anything. So anyways, this is how it works. On ready, the target once it's spawned in gets that game manager node. I don't think this is gonna be the final like way I do it. I was just trying to figure it out how to get it working. The logic is sound though. Get that game manager node. If it's null, if it's not null, so if it's null, then print an error, right? That's good. That is not good. The way I sometimes I just like to write jokes like that to crack me up. Game manager node is no reference not found. Right, so we've got, what do we have? Yeah, so checking if game manager node is null. So if it's null, print the error, right? But if it's not null, then game manager node subscribe. Yeah, so if the game manager node is null, print the error. But if it's not null, so if we manage to get the game manager reference, not reference, sorry. If we manage to get the game manager node, then subscribe to the ball changed. Try get ball, and then if I manage to get the ball, then current ball equals ball, and then current ball dot target subscribe to the target hit, and the rest of the code is exactly the same how it was working before. So we got on ball changed, replace the ball, and subscribe to the new ball's target hit signal. On target hit, same thing. Alright, basically this is the same code, right? So yeah, that's how it's working and that's how it's all weaving together. So if I show you, oh, is this working? Let's get my input. There we go. So let's show it working. Let's build it. Now watch I get a. So just to remind you, for target spawner. So what it should spawn 3 targets. So a target there, target there, target there, right? And then each of them should have its own sort of logic going. If I get hit 3 times, then destroy, or if I get hit by a super shot, destroy. And it should track it relatively like should track it by itself. So let's build run. We got our 3 targets there. Let's do that one. Get rid of that. Boom. So super shot works. The right one's been hit once, left one's hit once, left one twice. So if I hit the left one again, that should go. Oh. There we go, here. And then I think that one has one more. Oh no, it's got 2 more hits. So one more hit and it should be like fine. I could do a super shot, but just to show. There we go. That works perfectly fine. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, it is a bit like just patched on code just to see. So obviously for my target spawn, I'm not just gonna manually spawn the targets, right? But yeah, now I've got like a lot of the background logic working. So yeah. Right, so I did take a long bit of a break because it's past midnight. But so I was thinking, considering whether I should end the devlog or not, or do something else. Was gonna end it, then I thought, you know what, I've done a lot today. I feel like I can do one more thing, right? So in terms of the next step, I could try to work on this further, but I just want to work on these 2 issues. So issue number 1 is the super shot. So what's the issue with the super shot this time? Well, it's because whenever I shoot, alright, so I've got the ball here, I've got my stuff there. Whenever I shoot, let's say it's a super shot, boom, it hits a wall. Then once it hits the wall, it shouldn't be a super shot, but it still counts so long as the last shot was a super shot. So issue number 1, need to toggle super shot off on last shot DLs. I forgot what it's called, but on balls variable. Let's just call it that. Last shot variables. Once it hits something. So once the ball hits something, it should toggle off. It should check, okay, was this a super shot? Do my super shot stuff, and then toggle it off to make it so that it's not considered a super shot anymore. That way, I'd be able to hit one thing. So with super shot, you get one chance. Let me just play it. With super shot, you just get one chance basically. So you get a super shot, you get one chance. If you hit it, great, it goes. But if you don't hit it, if you hit the wall and it comes back down, that shouldn't really count as a super shot really. And then if we like, I don't know if I'll be able to do it on camera. If I can hit multiple. No. Let's try it one more time. There you go. See? That shouldn't have counted as a super shot, or it shouldn't have burst straight away because obviously the speed's not there anymore. Do you know what I mean? So we got that issue. What was the other issue? And the other issue number 2, is unsubscribing from signals. So with the ball and obviously with the target and everything else, I've got a bunch of signals going about. And especially with the ball and the targets, those are things that can be spawned in and despawned at the same time. Also, with the despawning, I was reading something that said there might be an issue using C# where you get memory leakages if you fail to unsubscribe from a signal before queuing it out of existence, basically. So whether that's an issue or not, I don't know, because the game seems like it's running fine, but also the game is just bare bones. But I do want to just look into that a little bit more, and then if it is an issue, try to patch it up, which should be whenever I'm despawning anything, unsubscribe from signals just before I despawn it. I'm going to try to tackle both of those issues. Then, inshallah, if I do manage to do it, then come back and explain what I've done, and then it should be the end of the video after that. But let me try to do that now. Alright, so good news is both of them are done. Sorted now. So I managed to do both of them. Let's tackle issue number one, which was toggling super shot off on ball's last shot variable once it hits something. That's to stop like super shot doing like hitting something, bouncing off the wall, hitting something else, bouncing off the wall. It doesn't make sense for my game. So for that, just went into ball. We've got our last strike info, which we're setting. Where do we set it? Right here. Store strike info, last strike info equals info, and then you can get last strike info. So for my on body entered method for this rigid body 2D, which is the ball, checking alright if the body is a target, then emit signal target hit. I might have other code here later on, I'm not sure. But at the end of this method, what I'm doing is, okay, once this ball has detected that it's hit something or something has entered, if last strike info is super short is true, then set it to false. Simple as, works like a charm. I'm guessing I would just have to keep this as the last line of this method forever now. So that's done. And the issue number two, I'm unsubscribing from signals. So I did a bunch of research, asked AI, asked for some help. What I gathered was, since I was doing signal delegates, which is from Godot, this gets cleaned up automatically by Godot. If I was, however, to do something like a C# event, which I've not even come across yet, so I don't even know what that is. But if I did a C# event as opposed to a Godot signal, what I would need in that instance is I would need something like this, ExitTree. And this is where I would do, like, let's say if I have a C# event called, I don't know, emit cry. I don't know why I'd do that. So let's say I've got a C# event called emit sound, right? What I'll do here is make an ExitTree for target. Do emit sound equals null. I don't know why that is happening, but you get the idea basically. Emit sound equals null. What that does is nulls it out, unsubscribes everything from that C# event, C# event, and then that makes it safe for the object, whether it's the target or ball or whatever, to just, you know, destroy itself, basically Q3. But as you can see, it doesn't work. If I type in target hit, doesn't work, or if I do target destroyed, doesn't work because it's because they are not C# event stuff. It's Godot signals, and Godot just handles it by itself. So I don't need to do anything. Apparently there is no memory leak, so it's actually sorted. I learned something, so that I know for the future if I ever do use C# events that I'd need to use that for short-lived things. You wouldn't use it for stuff like Game Manager because that would just continue to live on, but stuff like a target or the ball, those are short-lived in nature, so don't need that either. So yeah, that's done. Like both those issues are sorted. Really quick, not that long. Let me show you what the game looks like now, so I can show you that it actually works. Let's build, let's run. I've made it so that I've got like some custom controller, so I figured in the custom controllers software, I'm actually able to uh, assign like a keyboard key to one of the buttons. And I realized, oh, run project is F5, so I just made this into F5. So when I click that now, it starts. So yeah, we got this. If I do like a super shot and bounce it off of the wall, if it hits that target, it's not going to count as a super shot. It's a normal shot, normal shot, normal shot. Now it's gone. Right, let's try that again. Let's see if I can hit it like a. So if I hit that, it's going to hit the other one, and you can see that it destroyed the first one, but the second one it didn't destroy straight away because after the first hit it didn't count as a super shot. And yeah, everything's working fine. I'm not getting any errors or any debugging errors. I'm really happy with where my game's at the moment. So as a recap, what I've done today, done quite a lot. Fixed the first ball not interacting with targets correctly. So as you remember, my first ball that was spawned in wasn't getting what it was interacting with the target, but it wasn't taking away health or giving points, anything like that. So I fixed that. Set up target spawner and refactored logic inside target spawner, target, and game manager. So we got our target spawner, which is just a no 2D target spawn point, which is where I'm gonna drag this around to spawn targets wherever, and then hook that up into game manager. And then also got the target scene. I got the target scene inside of target spawner, and now I'm able to use the target spawner to spawn the target anywhere. And with this setup now, as like before, I wasn't able because I was plugging the target scene directly into game manager. I was only able to have one target. Refactored it all so that since I'm just using a target spawner, now I can have multiple targets on screen at the same time. And then fixed the bugs where super shot could bounce off of a wall and onto a target and then onto another target and then off a wall and onto another target, and so long as I didn't touch the ball again it would count as one super shot. So I fixed that so that on first impact whatever it hits first, that's only when the super shot counts. And then double checked the whether I was unsubscribing from signals correctly or not. And coming to find out that I didn't have to. Godot does it for me. That's the beautiful thing about Godot. In terms of next episode, I don't know, it's quite late now. I'm guessing for the next step, I'm gonna want to spawn the target at random places instead of setting it in a. If you remember my target spawner, I'm just manually setting, okay, spawn a target, spawn a target, spawn a target. So I'm guessing I'm gonna have to not manually, set it up so that every few seconds or whatever, targets spawn and they spawn at different places, and also make sure that it spawns within the game field. So I'm gonna have to pull in data of like where the game field is, where the limits are, where's the right wall, where's the left wall, where's the top, where's the bottom, making sure it's in a certain area. So I'm not sure if I'd have to pull in the information from these or just set up an area 2D and just make sure it spawns inside there. I'm not sure, but that's the plan for the next episode. Feel like I've done a lot today. It felt much better than yesterday. Yesterday felt frantic. Today felt like I really cleaned things up and the architecture is really coming in nice. So I'm glad. I'm glad at the point that I am at. So yeah, so that's gonna be it for today. And inshallah, I'll see you guys later. Take care.